The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another day at Traders and Investors webinar. Just give everybody a chance just to have a quick little read of the disclaimer if you haven't as yet. Just reminding everybody this is just general investment advice, not personal advice. So I haven't taken anything into consideration for anybody's personal circumstance, so anything that we discuss or price project here is purely just general advice, as I do not know your personal circumstance, as per our disclaimer currently on the screen. Okay, I'll switch over now to the main screen, and again we'll start off with some of the key stocks, the key indices, then we'll do a bit of oil, gold, and we'll start on the XJO, and we'll do some stocks and some currencies. So if anyone has any questions along the line, just type them in there, and I'll sort of cast my eyes every now and again to see if there's anything there, and I'll try to report on it. Okay, just switching over now. Just give us one moment. Okay, the Dow Jones, again, as usual, we must always start with the largest time frame. Okay, in this case here, we're looking at the monthly, and casting our eye on the monthly, as we can see, the original resistance, which is the red line at the top, basically the price had broken above, and it's still above that. However, we look at the bottom blue line as highlighted here, we can see that it's the main uptrend line. It's still maintaining the uptrend, so we cannot turn around and say a reversal has occurred. On top, the dashed line, again, it's the resistance point, and again, the difference between the bottom support line and the top resistance line, it really creates, again, a rising wedge, which tends to signify a reversal pattern. Again, reminding everybody, a reversal is only when it breaks below the line, and ideally the best time to get in is after it comes back and tests the line, and then basically goes its merry way to the downside. Then we really start confirming that the real reversal has occurred. However, yes, we can still trade it and plan it once it breaks below the line, as taking a view that a change is on the way. Again, there really isn't any other information here, and what it signifies is if it reverses, it could go as low as the 12,000 point level. It could go lower, we don't know, but primarily if it tends to come and test this main trend line. So that's what we do. Now, we might as well get rid of this little line here. It's not applicable anymore. It's way past. So that's how it currently looks, and how it should be maintained. Let's have a look at the weekly. Okay, with the weekly, what we can see on the weekly, again, that trend line down here, because this is a weekly, we can see it's broken below. Excuse me. It's broken below. It's come and retested, and that becomes its brick wall. And as we can see, even though the price is higher, it hasn't gone back above this line. And what we've noticed now, it is consolidation. As we can see at the bottom of this line here, the 17,081 point or so, and at the top of the 18,000, the price now is consolidating in this range, as we can tell now. Again, ideally, we can trade this, but anything that we do here is very, very short term, and obviously we have to go and look at the lower time frame. So what we're seeing here is the Dow Jones is actually consolidating. It appears that, at least for now, the uptrend appears to be over. The only time we can start saying yes, the uptrend can continue is once it passes the top resistance line, which is just here, and of course then continues and breaks above the other lines. Let's have a look at the daily. Again, looking at the daily, what we can see is, again, the bottom where it's support, the top, which is this angular line at the top here, basically showing the point of resistance. And what we're seeing here, if this price now breaks below this low here, if this current price goes below, then we have what we say a lower low, and then this high here is lower than the previous high, so it means it's a lower high. So lower high and possibly a lower low, we can then start expecting it to go down to this level at least if that happens. Okay, so it's crunch time. We have to see what happens at this point. We really can't say anything more than that unless you want to start looking it down to on an intraday basis. So we'll move on. Having a look next is basically the S&P 500. Just go to it. Gee, it looks pretty similar again. Again, let's go to the monthly. We can see on the monthly, again, huge rising wedge. As we can see, basically plenty of touches at the bottom here, which basically gives it a lot of significance if the price breaks below. Again, it's pretty much doing what the Dow is doing, pretty close to it. It's consolidating, so we really can't say any more than that on a monthly basis. Go to the weekly, and we can see on the weekly, just changing weekly, and we can see from the bottom here, touch, 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 touch. So there's a really good 4 touches, looks like 5 here, and it is appearing to be consolidating at this point. So we really need to see, is this going to break below? Is it going to maintain it? We have no idea. So we really got to see what it does first and take direction from it. Again, now going to the daily. What we can see on the daily again, the highest point here, there's again like the Dow, this high is lower than this high. If it breaks below, then we expect it to go back down to this. And this line, by the way, I've got it here, but technically it can also belong here. It can also belong there. So I'll leave it. The reason I left it there, I've got a touch here, pretty much a touch there and a touch so. But again, technically, this line can be moved a bit lower. So we've got to take a license on this, okay? So hopefully maybe something will happen here and create a small bearish flag, and then we can do a target, and then we can determine where potentially this line can be. Okay, but all we do know, the way it looks, is consolidation to possibly a lower price at the moment. Again, that's all we can do with the S&P 500. There really isn't anything else can be done on it. So we just got to wait till these things give us direction. I'll just go to oil again, I think as we did last time. And again, monthly. Let me just go to enlarge this. We can see on the monthly, we looked at it last time, broke. We've got various targets. As we said last time, you know, nice, we saw it lower down, 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 but primarily there is going to be some profit taken at some point. And sure enough, we start to see a reversal again. There is nothing here to say this cannot go lower. As we can see, there's targets at this point. So from our perspective, technically speaking, this has got lower prices to go. Is it going to go all the way down here? I have no idea at this moment. All we got to have a look at, if this comes down lower and maybe doesn't go as low, then starts to reverse and go higher than the previous, then we can say a reversal is potential. But at this point in time, we can't say anything at all other than what we've done in the past. There is lower prices to come. Weekly, I'll go to now. Again, with the oil, unfortunately, the daily prices, as I'll show you later again, just reminding everybody, it's basically dot, 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 you know, the same price, even though it trades live during the day, or it's a 20 minutes delay. I've got to just remember that actually. Basically what we see, because we don't get an open high-low last for the of the day, so we don't get a true range. So it's a bit hard to do full analysis on this, but as a guide, it's pretty good. What we see here, it went to a low, had its rally on the weekly, and it's back on the way down again. Again, not much you can do with it. You've got to see, is it going to make a lower low? Is it going to make a lower high in reverse? So, but according to the monthly, there is lower prices to come. And I'll just go to the daily, but I won't enlarge the chart, as everybody can see on the daily on the next chart where I'm moving my mouse. You can see that that's the dashes there. That's basically a daily price, the last daily price on the day. During the day, that spot moves up and down all over the place, but unfortunately, we can't have an open, high, low close. Okay, so that's really what we can say about oil at this point of time. We'll have a look at gold now. We seem to be going nice and quick through this because we have in the past, I suppose, analysed them and all the lines are there, so we're really just recapping, especially if I can only do what I'm asked to do, and this is what people are asked me to look at, and hence, unless there's something new we can start, it'll take longer to analyse, I guess. Again, monthly. What we can see on the monthly, again, we had the bottom support area that was broken, and we can see it was retested back up, and now it's coming down below, but at this point it has not gone below the previous low, and in fact had a bit of a rally on the upside at the moment. So if anyone had taken a short position, I would probably still be inclined, depending what the daily or intraday, if you're trading at that level. If I was trading as a long position time, I would be short from way back, unless you're really trading it. Again, we still are inside this range here. Again, what this tells us, it can break to the up or it can break to the down. So it is still in a huge consolidation area. In fact, this consolidation area is probably what about 150, 200 bucks nearly, just in that area there. So again, no direction. It's all inside this, at least when you look at the monthly. We're looking at, again, like I said, lower time frames, you can trade it still. Looking at the weekly, we go to the weekly next. Again, we are all in this. It went to the top. It's headed pretty much close enough to the bottom, and it's reversing back up. It's great for trading, okay, but not to take any very long-term positions. And the weekly, again, does not give us any more data than that. And what I just need to do is probably just extend this line a bit. And the bottom one. Okay, that's all really can be done here on the weekly. Looking at the daily, as you can see, it looks dramatically different now, doesn't it? Again, if you're looking at the daily, we had a price target down here, went below it. As we can see, just trying to line everything up for the moment. Just take a bit more. There we are there. As we can see, and we can clone it. Okay, here we are. It broke the trend line on the upside, and remember when we're targeting here, what's the potential? Again, it's from the bottom here to the top here, to the cross to the breakout there, and that's its target on the upside. Okay, that's all you have to do if you're wanting to go on the long side from this level here. Once it breaks up, that's where we're heading. Okay, so gold at the moment, at least just for now, unless another pattern shows up, basically has got around a 1242 to 1249 target as it stands as a trade. So last time we spoke, we had a flag here, we did a down target. It went a bit below a target, but you can see we had this downtrend line. That's what we should have basically added. Obviously, it's been 2 weeks since we've done this, so we clone, and again, we are in a small trading channel, and there is an up target, and how we target from the channel, I'll recap, is you click at the bottom, click to the top, and click to the break, and that gives you a target. Really, and that is gold. We really are going nice and fast through these. XJO. Just let it update, get all the data. There we are. Okay, XJO, monthly again. What does the monthly tell us? Okay, originally, when this is the bottom trend line, we can clone that. We've got a channel, and according to the channel, and the channel is sandwiched, which makes it actually more powerful because it's stuck between this area here and it's sandwiched between there. It's like locked in like a piece of timber between two things. And we came close to the top again, and obviously it has struggled there at that point. So it's telling us around here is roughly around top, at least for the short term, and we should be looking at least taking profit if there's a target being reached and so forth. And going to a lower time frame on a weekly now, telling us again we were just a bit above that, but going through the big pattern also on the top of resistance. Again, we came pretty much to top of resistance as we looked at it on the monthly, telling us, you know, we are around the tops, need to be careful. Targets were hit, and in fact, I think we did a target to there, but did we do the second target? Let me have a look. The second target is from the bottom here to the top there to its breakout point right there, and sure enough, that's the second target, and it's telling us the top is just under 6,000 to up to 6,040, which we can see these red little lines of the candles came into the target range, and it has reversed. Now, let's look at the daily to assess it better. And here they are, 6,001 down, that's in the middle there, but primarily from 5,990 a target was reached. That alone should have basically said, you know, some alarm bells to be a bit wary. Now, what is really happening here? Let's have a look at the daily. What we can confidently say, let me just clean it up and I'll do it again. I'll add some of the lines again just to make a point here. What we can do, right, between the tops, look at that. So it reached the top twice, and if we go to the bottom, down to here, look, anything within a small percentage is considered still around the same spot. So what we expect really to probably see around here is we're going to consolidate in this range here. I'd be very surprised if this now continues to go right through, because there is resistance as we saw on the monthly and the weekly. So if it runs again, it might go marginally above it. I use the word might, and I think it's going to consolidate for a little bit before it then continues its next run on the XJO. Okay, so that's pretty much the XJO. Let's have a look now at some stocks. I've been asked to do CBA. Let's have a look at CBA. Okay, monthly again, always look at the highest time frame first. And as we can see on the monthly, the price is almost reached at that level. It did break above this major resistance, which was a rising wedge. I have to concur on that. It has broken above it, so it's not really a rising wedge. Now basically what happens is this. As this price goes above it and comes back below it, and I'll extend the line, I'll just extend the line a bit further. There, and you'll just cut that there. That means as the price goes above and comes back below, this resistance originally is now support, okay? So unless it breaks below and then comes back to this line, then we discard this line altogether. And then we might have to clone the line. And let's have a look what happens if there's anything there. So if we do that, again, this is a sandwich between the two. And technically it's interesting that, see where the target is? It's inside this channel now. Okay, this becomes a channel. So if this supports it here, goes a bit higher, then comes back down, then it's in a trading channel. Okay, that's how we have to leave this. It's got to look, we've got to leave that channel in there now. That's the monthly. We go to the weekly, and it's got a higher target, as we can see, by the way. Go to the weekly. What do we see on the weekly? Well, that's the line that it broke above. We can again maybe see clone if it does anything on this one on the weekly, and the weekly we can see just there. See what we can see, it's an almost a touch there, touch there, touch there, sandwich locked in between two, touch there. This is considered pretty close to a touch. Okay, so technically speaking, you know, maybe you can go a touch lower. Let's have a look. Just a touch lower. Yeah, that's pretty good still also. You can see, just looks like it's fitting. Can even probably go even lower, but it's just on that now. That's fine. So we can see that concurs exactly as the monthly also. That was the main, as I said, the resistance, upper priced at the moment. What we can see here, just draw that. Flag or pennant, we can do a target out of that from here to there to its breakout point, and there's its targets around the $102 also. So this is a potential entry point, so I'd be looking for an entry point on the daily or intraday, trying to get this at the most opportune time. Unless this comes back below that and fails, different story, but obviously if you look at the daily or intraday, they certainly won't tell you to get in unless this is starting to reverse from here anyway. Let's have a look at the daily at the moment. And here we are on the daily again. Again, we can draw. Probably be along something like that. We can draw that also, like so. So that alone tells us as a price projection from here, there, and breakout, which is where it is, then there, I'll go to the main one there, and breakout, and it's a bit above that or still. So if this comes now down and retests, stays up to around here and holds this price, then continues its move on the upside, then that's where I'd be looking for an entry. I'll be looking to see what it's going to do around here. If it breaks below, obviously, then it becomes useless, and it hit its target, its first target anyway, and we'll see what it transpires. But looking at this, I would think it'll come and consolidate around this area here before it starts looking its merry way the other way back up again. And that's CBA. Next I was asked to do is ANZ. Geez, it's always nearly the same ones all the time we're doing here. Again, looking at the monthly, we can see, again, rising wedge. That was the top here. It has broken and holding above it. And I guess just curious here. Let me have a look at this. From here, it's above it, so it's no point. It's useless to do that. Okay, let's get out of here. I can't see any other resistance other than this line now. So basically this is saying on the monthly, yes, there's room to move higher. So we just got to really just watch on the weekly and daily, see if there's any potential to higher to go there. But the monthly certainly gives it room to go higher. Let's go to the weekly. And we can see on the weekly, we hit the original target. Let me just get rid of it now because we already hit it. That's what we've done. Now, looking at this weekly, we can see like so, like so. Now, I'll do a target, but the truth is, what it's saying is, the only way this, what I'm about to do, the only way this is going to be valid is if it breaks above this resistance area. So I want to make that pretty clear. I'll do it on the basis that it is only valid upon it breaking above this major line, okay? So it's from down here to the top to its breakout point, which is there. And if I put auto size on, you'll see it's giving you a $41 target, but I'll say again, it's only valid if it breaks above this line. Now, just to point out, I was asked, I was emailed actually, and I ran a little training session on the new Phoenix software yesterday, and unfortunately forgot to hit the record button, damn it. So I'm going to do it again, and I'll run a personal one, and I'll record it, and I'll publish it in the next few days or so. I apologize for that. And I made a small mistake. I don't know why I did this, but anyway, I just want to recap on this. As I said, this is only valid unless it goes above this line. So what's the value? How do I set this to alert me if it's going to break above this line, or at least that it is at this line? So how we do is this. We can highlight this line. See, I put my mouse over and it gets thicker. Well, I can right-click my mouse button, and then I can say Set Alert. So this box appears now. Now, I can make a note, and I can say ANZ Alert, not that I have to because that's going to be set up anyway. What I can say, value, if I leave it at 0 here, it means is when it hits the actual line, which is at the 0 point, if I put, minus 0.01 means it'll be 1 cent before it gets there, okay? Or if I leave it at 0 and I say, okay, now I've set it up at 0. If I wanted to view this, I can go to View on my menu on the top on Phoenix, go right to the bottom, you see Chart Alerts, and click, and I can see these are all the alerts that I currently have going in here, okay? And basically I've just set an alert that if the price gets to this, touches this line, to let me know. Okay, that's what I've done. So I can close this by hitting the cross on the side, and I can always go and review it by just going to View, Chart Alerts. I can go back to it anytime I want, okay? That's it. It's that simple now. It doesn't matter if it's a trend line, it doesn't matter if it's a support line. Basically, you can draw your line, highlight it, right-click your mouse, Chart Alert, put the proximity, you can do it as a value, or if it gets within a certain percentage, and basically you can set up an alert. It's as simple as that. Okay, so you can do that with any stock, currency, indice. Just remember when you're putting, if it's a dollar value, let's say, and 0 is point, so remember point is then, you can talk about 40 cents, 10 cents, 1 cent. So if it's 1 cent, it's 0.01, okay? So it's mean 0.0 mean the tenth, and the 1 mean the cents, the last decimal. Okay, so that's how simple it is. Now, I've set an alert to let me know if the price gets there, and that's the only time I might want to be interested, because then I've got above this line, I've got a $2-3 run. Now, also, of course, if this goes lower and on the daily or something, I'll just go to the daily now. On the daily or something, happens on the daily and turns around and says, there's a bullish flag forming here, and then it's going to go higher, I might want to get in. I'll be conscious that if it hits that price value, I might want to get out, or I might want to wait and see if it's going to break it, basically. Now, as we can see, based on the previous pattern, all these patterns here, they've got it here, the targets have been hit. So those targets have been hit. We really should be taking our money off the table when those targets got hit, and see how it consolidates and see what pattern it's going to make here. This might be a flag here. Could be a bullish flag that's going to form here somehow, and we don't know. We just don't know. I'll delete that because nothing like it yet. Okay, so, and then you'll have another bullish flag for it, hopefully, to break through. So just watch it carefully. Obviously now down these targets below invalid, and we can get rid of that one. We're way past these, so keep your screen nice and clean. I'll take a couple of these off. I'll leave one on there because we did hit our target, and then keep the screen nice and clean. So ANZ, I would have taken my money off the table, and I'd be looking to see if I would get into the long side at the moment. So it's indecision time. So that's how I would be looking at it. Okay, next one, AMP. Again, AMP, let's look at the monthly first. We can see at this point down here, we haven't looked at AMP before, by the looks of it, like so, and support here, probably it's like so, and really, I can't use this as a flag. It's not very clean at all. It goes too much of an angle, so it's not clean enough. So what we can do is, sorry, start again on that one. And like so, and clone. Oh, that's quite nice, isn't it, eh? You already got resistance at that level, so it's consolidation time. Let's go now to weekly. Yeah, well, actually that's what we did on the weekly. Did that exactly that. We did last time a flag, we put targets up here, but what we did say, this is the resistance point, and this is the channel is also a resistance point, so it's only going to be good if it breaks above those. So anyone that got in as it broke above, all they were trading is this little level. Okay, so nothing really alters from this. With AMP, yes, it looks potentially can go higher, but we are at the top of the channel. Is it going to be a valid channel? We don't know. If it breaks above it, certainly it will not be. If it starts to get a pattern that you can trade to the downside, then yes, it'll be a valid channel. So again, wait and see with these. We need to look at a lower time frame. Looking at the daily, again, let me just add things to it. I'll clone like so. What we also have on the top and the bottom. So looking at that, it looks like consolidation. Okay, this is the thing about this. I can do two targets out of this, potential. These are potential targets. If it breaks above, we click at the bottom here, we click at the top, we go right across to this point, and we say that's the potential target on the upside. But remember, you can have resistance here. It's got to break above this to do it, and then this is your risk, and then if it breaks above that, that's what we can look forward to based on daily. However, if it breaks to the downside, we click at the top, we click to the bottom, we go right across directly below this, and on the line where it would break out, then that's where we're looking at. So again, it's a setup for the future. That's how you got to look at it. So this is a trade that we can consider as where we get ready to trade it, and if it goes one way or the other, then we have a trader in our hands. That's planning ahead. And again, you can set up alerts. You can set up alert if it hits this line or hits that line. You can just go to highlight the line. I'll just show you one more time. I'll just get my little arrow here. I can go here, right click my mouse, set an alert. Oh, my screen, the other screen just gone blank. I don't know if everybody else's did, but it's back again. Go to value. If I leave it at 0, means that if it hits the 0, right on the line, $6.81, wherever the line is, it will let me know. Okay, and I go do the bottom one, highlight that line, right click the mouse, set an alert, value. In other words, if it hits the 0, it's going to let me know. I can view this anytime, roughly what I've got open by going to view, chart alerts, and here they are all down here. There's AMP and so forth. Okay, so all you've got to consider then is money management. Okay, again, remember, I do not know your personal circumstance. This is just general investment advice. Okay, so if I was looking for a trade, I can say, from $6.36 or so, or maybe I'll get in at $6.30 down to $6 even. It's $5.98 to $5.94. Well, you're talking 30 cents. That's 5%. Now, something like that, as we can see, can happen in 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Well, who's going to give you 5% in a few days? And that's the way I would treat it. So it's important to set up trades ahead. See the potential and set them up. That's AMP. Okay, next one, CCL. CCL. Well, that's a while since we looked at this one. We did target. Just quite didn't get there, pretty close, but anyway, this is a head and shoulder on the weekly. Let's have a look at the monthly. We can see the monthly target at the bottom was hit. And what have we got here? Actually, I can probably draw a line there, but it's best to do it on the weekly. Now remember, for those that are not familiar with rising wedges, this is a rising wedge. You saw it broke below it. There's your top of your resistance. We can see it broke below here. It came and retested it and then fell away. Ideally, that's the best time to get in. It's the safest, and you really get a nice run on the downside. Again, you hit the target. Once a major target gets hit, you don't know if it's over. It could have more to go down. We don't know. But primarily, we look at patterns, if they reverse on the upside and so forth. We go back to the weekly now. and obviously we drawn this on the weekly on the downside. What we noticed is a shoulder, a head, a shoulder, or symmetrical triangle is a full reversal. The reversal gave us a target of there, and we're pretty much there right now. So if we're trading this to the upside, I'd be getting the hell out of there and seeing where I'll go next. That's all the weekly can give us. Going to the daily, we can see daily price targets being hit, and also we've noticed the gap that was left here. Now usually what we know, price comes in to close gap. Well, it's certainly done that right across, as we can see. It's closed the gap, and let's see what we got now. We got an accelerated trend, is what we call this. Okay, so this is the original trend, then accelerated to the upside. We have on the top here resistance, way at the top, resistance. Okay, and now what we know of this is the price is consolidating, and you can see it's going to get tighter and tighter in here till it makes a move on the up or the down. Now what we really have is here we've got touch across, but if I just show you, just do this for a moment, just there, we have a pattern. We've got an ascending triangle. Okay, so we can target up or down. In other words, if this breaks up from first target from here and estimated breakout, in other words, this comes back up somewhere here and breaks out at the top, it'll be a target to around $11. However, if this breaks to the downside, and again I'm only estimating, I'll just put it out there, there's your down target. Okay, now again what you can do is you can set an alert. If you think that's good enough for a return, for a trade, set it up. Let the system tell you when it's there. You know, let the system do the work for you. So what you do is I get my little arrow again, I go to the top here, highlight it, right click, set an alert, value, I want it when it goes to 0, when it hits that line, I want to know about it, click, when it goes to the bottom of the line, right click, set an alert, value, and okay. Now I've set an alert, the system is going to tell me when it's getting ready to break one way or the other so I can start watching. Now I might then choose to set up a second alert, just putting another line just a touch above it or a touch below it, depends where it is, and that way when it goes up by a cent or something, I want to know about it. So I can jump in. I might do it on an intraday chart or something. It doesn't matter. The system will let you know. So let the system do the work for you. Okay. And that is CCL. Yeah, it's gone down quite well actually. CSL, next one. Oh, somebody's asking a question, my apologies. Let me have a look. 1 second, please. Get this and move it out of here. That way I can see it better. Is there any placing? Somebody asks, is there any logic / wisdom in placing pending orders for that AMP example? Look, when you say placing pending, are we talking about just setting up the order? Remember something. The reason I would set the alert there is because I want to make sure the price closes above the line. Doesn't just tick above, then comes below within, goes a cent above, then below, then gets stuck with an order. What I would do, looking at something like CCL, let's say, and if it breaks above or below, it doesn't really matter. What I would do is I would maybe convert it, say, to a 60 minutes. Okay, and if the 60-minute chart looks as good as the daily, let's say, or even the AMP one that we were doing before, the question was about the AMP one, and I only just noticed it now, so sorry about that. I would set it up with like a 60 minutes or 180 minutes, which 180 minutes is 3 hours, which is trading in shares is basically 6 hours a day, so it's 2 bars a day basically. If the bar then closes above, and that's why I prefer 60 minutes, because I don't have to wait 3 hours, I don't have to wait for the hour, and it closes above, then I would jump in on the following minute. That's the way I would do it, and I will plan my stop at some reasonable point so I can make sure I don't get caught in something that could change. But primarily that's how I would plan it. Set the alert, then you don't have to set it on the daily. You might find, like I said, the intraday 60 minutes 180 will look even better than that. I'm showing you the example how you do it, and that way the system alerts you and then you can take advantage of it. That's that simple. It really is. Okay, I hope that was helpful. I was asked also to do another one after, which is REA. I will do that also as we go along. Okay, I was saying CSL. Now, what are we seeing here? Okay, what we're seeing here, amazingly, we are at the top of resistance lines. That's why you need to start really being quite careful. Look at this again. Okay, this is a monthly chart, and look where the monthly starts down here, top, going across to here, resistance, and then we're coming again to that price area. Even if it decides to break through this area, let's say, right, it's still going to slow it down, and that's what generally happens. It's still going to play an important role to slow it down. It might be staying in the top area for a number of months, so it's going to be very short-term trading. So that's how you've got to treat it. Okay, it'll be very short-term trading. Now, so the monthly's telling me upside is minimal. So any targets, especially when you look at something this big, this is humongous. On a monthly, upside you've got to say is limited. So any upside trades, just be careful, it's limited. Okay, let me go to weekly. This is a channel, and you can see we had target upon target upon target going all the upside. Let me just clean it up a little bit so we can see what's there that I haven't seen at the moment. It's been a little while. We hit all the targets there. And look, there was a consolidation here, right? So what that basically means is from here to there, to the breakout point there, there's your target. We're there already, even out of that consolidation also. And the fact is, there really isn't any other target on the weekly anymore, okay? There is no other target on the weekly. We hit the top target on the weekly. So what we've got to do now is watch very carefully. Yes, in this channel, it says it can go higher, all right? But all the channel, look, there's no touches here. All the touches are in here, in this center, nothing else. But on the monthly, there's major resistance, as we can see on the monthly, just going down the monthly chart. We can see down here, major resistance, probably around just over the $100 level there, or maybe at the $100 level. So we'll go to the daily now. And again, we hit the target. That was the one that we were looking at before consolidation, and we hit the target. Okay, so that target's been hit, and there's nothing more we can do about it. We can draw a trend line, and that trend line would actually fit here. And this could quite very well come back down to these levels here anyway. So I can try cloning it and see what it does for me. Again, all I've got, I can do a clone. I've only got one touch, okay? So it doesn't give me very much at all. So we really need to see more information on this. But I'd be certainly taking my money once I hit those targets and going away. And let's see what happens after that. You can see the difference between my enthusiasm when I say this could be a good setup in the future by when I set up the chart alert. All right, that's a planned trade ahead. Here, there's nothing for me to do. Move on. Don't worry about it. All right. If you're interested in this stock, what you might turn around and say, you know what? I don't see anything else around here, so I might set an alert at this bottom line here, way down here. If it goes down to here, I want to know about it because maybe it'll bounce off. So that's about it. We'll move on. ILU. Now, actually, this is a really good example. I'm going to leave it, this chart, I'll zoom in later, but I want to leave it as it is just to make my point here. As I said before, when we were talking about, I think it was at AMP or CCL, and I set a chart alert, and I said I wanted to close above there. Now, I'd rather even look at a 60-minute chart and say, right, I'll go into the next one, trade the next bar, if it closes above. Why? Because sometimes these things change and close back below. Now, if I was using an example, a monthly chart, look at my monthly chart here. This broke above. And if I looked at it, I said that looks pretty good for reversal because this is a falling wedge. If it breaks above it, means it's a full reversal. It's reversing to the upside. The down's over. But look at it. It stuck its neck. I could have been caught out and I could have lost. Now looking at the weekly, have a look here. The weekly broke out. You'd be saying, geez, let's jump in. But then look what happened. Now that's quite a big fall. In fact, looking at it, let's have a look here. From the top of this price is $8.58, and to the bottom of this, it's $7.20. That's what, $1.30. That's $1.30 there in the move. Now, is this a flag? A bullish flag? It could be. I want to see again. I want to see it close above there, and then of course, the problem that we got here is if we trade, be prepared. It might stop at this top point here, right? Be prepared. It could occur there. Okay, so just be careful there because it's already done it. But this is what we call a falling wedge, and that means if it does close above it on the monthly, basically means the reverse is happening now. The down is over, and this particular stock is reversing to the upside. Again, last time someone asked me, we were here, this was a potential flag, and I said if it breaks to the upside, that was the target. As we can see, it broke to the downside, so that target was invalid. So we've got to remove that because it broke to the downside. So again, what have we got? Now this is not valid anymore. What we've got to do is that, okay, and we really can't add anything else yet. Well, I suppose what we can do is probably do that. And what we need to do is what's going to happen here. If this breaks above this point here and closes above, I would say we're valid, we're on the way up. And if it, obviously, again, what you can do is if it breaks above, and I'll do a target on both ways, if it breaks above, it's a target up. If it breaks below, it's a target down. We don't know. And the truth is, I don't care. I just got to, if I'm interested in this stock to trade, again, you're talking from $8.56 to $10. Let's say you get in at $8.60 maybe to $10. That's $1.40. Well, $1.40, $8.50. 10% of $8.50 is 85 cents. That's $1.40 move. So what are we talking? About 15 to 17% potential move, just in that move there on the upside. If it does that, is it worth then looking at it? Because if that's the case, all right, what you've got, just to maybe confirm that, is if that's the flag, the pole, conservative pole is here. There we have that $10, $9.74, $10. Yeah, $9.70, $10. There it is there. So your weekly with two different patterns confirms it. Again, I would set that as an alert, interesting trade. It'd be even nicer, especially if it's to the upside, if this makes a bullish flag here and the flag tells me it's going to go a bit above there and I can get even earlier and the runner will even better again. That's how I would be treating this, okay? So set an alert, again, and watch it even more closely and see if there's a bullish flag being formed here so you can even get even earlier. You know, it's potentially you can get in up to maybe 50 cents earlier. Okay, that is ILU. The next I was asked to do is NAB, National Australia Bank. Oops, click on the wrong spot. NAB. Okay. Now, has that hit the target or has that hit the target? It's hit the target. Okay. So you can see my monthly target's been hit, my weekly target's been hit, my daily targets were hit. What should you do when targets are hit? Take your money off the table. It's a trade. Okay. That's what it is. Now, is it going to go higher? Truth is, I don't know. But let's have a look. The monthly tells us potentially, yes, look where this line is. It is much higher. So yes, potentially it can go higher. So there's room to move more than $40 it can go. Probably $41, $42. I think it'll be in here if it goes. Probably around 42. What's it doing here? Is this a bullish flag? Possibly, I don't know. So we clone it. Oops, and we set it up a little bit better. So we just got to watch it. Again, I don't know if it's going to break on the upside. All I can do is pretend that it might, and then I can assess if it's worth taking the trade. I'll do more conservative, click from here to the top. So in other words, I'm using one body, one wick, and all I can do is try to estimate the breakout, say around there, and there's your $41. Now, it's down to what, 38 something the price. If potentially you can get in under 39 and you can go to 41, well, that's $2. Well, how quickly does it go, these type of moves? Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, 7 days, a week, 5% in a week. Who's going to give you that? If plan your trade and trade your plan. I guess what I'm saying. Plan your trade, trade your plan. Again, I would set an alert on this line only since it's a flag. So you might want to set it up 1 cent before that because there's a minus. If you leave the minus in front, it's 1 cent before it gets there, or 2 cents before it gets there. And then you can watch it more closely. You can convert it to maybe 60 minutes, 180 minutes just to get a better entry point, and then take the trade from there. So that's National Australia Bank, folks. Next one, ORG. ORG. Okay, ORG. What have we got? Actually, it's not looking good, is it? I mean, you look at the month, it looks like a bearish flag forming. You look at your daily, it looks like a bearish flag there. So let's look at it. I'll enlarge the monthly. I'll clone it. Now, remember, I've got major support here, so that means that whatever target we do, we trade it only up to this line. Unless we're in nice profit, we can hold it and see if it's going to break and continue to go through. It hasn't broken down yet, so we need to wait and see. The month is not far away to be over, okay? So this candle, you might find it's the following month that breaks. So we go from the top here. Oops, let me get the price target tool, sorry. From the top here, the line, to the bottom, to an estimator where we think it might break. And that tells us down to around $7.50. Now, from where it is now, what's the value at the moment? What's my crosshair? 1160 or so. So 1160, if we can try to get an entry maybe around 1130, 1120, well, geez, it's got a long way to go, hasn't it? Looks like a pretty good trade, but maybe a $3.50 trade. That's around what, 20% if it does that, or more. So it's a trade I would strongly suggest to watch very carefully, because if Origin here does do what this pattern suggests it could do, there's quite a bit of money. And remember, stocks always go down faster than they go up. Okay, keep that in mind. Let's have a look at the weekly. And we'll have a look at this. Clone. Okay, you can see there's a channel there. Now the good thing about this, if this now, as it had a kick up, and if it decides to break to the downside, we can actually get a target off the channel. And the channel goes from there, actually to here first, to its breakout to roughly there. That tells us it's the $10. So the first move this to around the $10, and if we go back to the original thing here, we can see this support is at $10. Isn't that good? So it's telling us it's going to go out of this pattern to the downside. If it breaks, we're going to go to around the $10 anyway. So then there's another move after that we have to consider. Now let's cross-reference this with a daily. Actually, let me just get like so, and I'll clone that. What is that? Flag looks like, doesn't it? And look, there was a flag here too. Geez, wouldn't it be nice if somehow we can have a program that just finds these for us? We don't have to bloody well try to do them ourselves. The ultimate. We can only dream about it, I guess, for now. Look, just as an example, from top of the flag to the bottom of the flagpole to the breakout, there's its target. Okay? Now, this hasn't broken yet, but this is the next move. To the bottom here, to an estimated breakout there. That also is telling us around the $10.40. All right, so the weekly says if it breaks down around the $10 mark, this is telling us to the mid-10s or below the mid-10s. And then the other one breaks below the second level, is telling us down to $7.50. Now, should you have this on your radar? Absolutely. Again, not personal advice, okay? Not personal advice, just general investment advice. I cannot stress that enough. But that's the way I'd be doing it. I'd be watching this probably. I would try to draw this on an intraday basis, 60 minutes, 180 minutes, and I'll treat it as a channel on a 60 minutes so I can trade out of a channel. 180 minutes will be just twice as many bars as you're looking at that. Again, very tight channel. I'll look at a trade out of that just to get a better entry price between the 60 minutes and the 180, and I'll be looking forward to, around the $10 mark. If it were to fail, you'd be looking around this level here, back to the bottom of the bowl, around 11.15. If it were to fail, what are the chances? Well, look, I mean, anything's possible. Trading is trading, right? Trade what you see, not what you think. However, you can see it's been here before, down these levels, so the target suggests that. If anything, it's more likely, statistically speaking, it's more probable that it will go down to these levels, more probable. So for me, that would be a good trade. It would be a bloody good trade. ORG done. Okay, that's ORG. Santos, STO. Oh, look at those. It doesn't look good. First of all, monthly. Look, we've done this how many weeks ago? I think probably a couple of months ago when we first started. We can see we said lower prices to come, and the price still stands. So Santos, we are looking to lower prices to go. There's nothing more we can add to that. On the weekly, what can we see? It broke out of this pattern, broke below, came close to this target. It's rebounding back and testing the bottom of this, which is really good. Now, all we need to do is a reversal, and you'll see those lower monthly price targets. Generally, when we see something like that, I get excited because what it does, it reinforces. It's nice when it comes and retests it again. Okay, it's good when it retests it again, and because when it fails again, we know it's committed, and it really looks like it's going to go lower. And we go to the daily to confirm this. Here's the daily. Yes, yeah. And again, let me extend the line. Look, isn't it nice? I like when I see a retest like that. That means as this now reverses, and look, what we can probably see here too, from there, and I'll clone that, a nice bearish flag. Look, we've got a lower target out of the pattern, the retest. So in other words, as it breaks below that, I love it. I love that. Basically from here, well, maybe we went a little bit too high, so I'll shrink it from this side. and an estimate down. Oh, look at that. So off this pattern gives me that target, the 6.5. Off that flag gives me around the 6 and below the 6.5. Fantastic. Again, plan your trade and trade your plan. Okay. Plan your trade, trade your plan. And that is Santos. Potentially a good trade coming up. Just all I need to do is break that bearish flag. And in fact, if you look at the weekly, this could end up being a bearish flag there, which is basically this, again, what we're seeing here, could be there, which gives you a bigger target down. Okay, we can't say it's a flag yet, so, but potentially that's what we're looking at. I've got REA to do, stock. And REA monthly first. Again, what we're looking at, I can probably remove this one here. Now, I'll just remove this line. And we sandwich that in this line here. It's sandwiched between all. And that's where it stopped. We drew a line right across. Let me just clean some of this stuff up. Okay, we drew a line right across, and what we see is consolidation. And what we can do is extend this line and cut it up a little bit. Or we can just want to make sure it's straight. Oops, come here, you. It really goes to there and there. Okay, it really is almost crunch time here because it's got to do something. It looks pretty. Just move it across like so we can see a bit better. You can see it's just all in this little tight area. It can technically feel like that also. So it's consolidating in this sideward channel. What you really want to do is if it breaks below this, that's where its next support be around the $40 mark. If it breaks above that, then we can do a target up. So it depends which way it goes, okay? So let's say if it breaks then below the $40 mark, then we can do a target down. So this is consolidating for a decision, but no decision has been made yet. Look at the weekly. We can see it's in this channel here, oh sorry, in the trend line. Let's see if it's a channel also. And it's also a channel. So it's in consolidation phase no matter which way you look at it. And it's at the bottom of the channel. If it does break, then we got more downside. But at the moment, we can't really make any decision again. I think we said if it breaks above with this pattern that we did was a $57 target, but it has not broken above there yet. Go to the daily. We hit those out of this pattern. Now this pattern is still valid, and these could still be valid, by the way, because as long as it stays above this line here, everything's valid. Now, however, what else can we do? Clone. We are in that channel and we need to extend the lines. Well, that's what that is anyway. There is support here, that's for sure. And let's just add it. There's support there. Although it looks a bit messy, it's still consolidating in that area there. Again, the top $50 target is valid. Again, this is why it's important when you see things start to reverse. When some of your targets get hit, it's important to maybe take money off the table. Don't always look at the highest possible price because it could be a while before it gets there, and see what else it does and look for a new flag or other pattern to basically let you get in, especially when you're trading. You notice what we've done, how many stocks that we looked at, how many potential trades we can set up. So what we're looking for is alerts, chart alerts to let us know so we can keep moving our money around. That's really the key. Take short trades, move your money around, go into the next one. If something better comes up and I hit my first target, I'll take my money out, go to another one. Make sure you split your parcel of money, not to always put all your money on one trade, you know. Maybe break it up at 20% here, you know, basically at 20%, 5 lots of money. And you always look, you move your money to 5 different trades at all times. And hopefully try not to put it all in resources or all in banking or all in one area. Try to break it up in a few areas at least. Okay, therefore you are truly diversified. It's not, you know, it's not just specific risk. Then you're looking at sector risk and so forth. So you're not getting caught in one area. Okay, I hope REA, the one who asked me a few moments ago, was helpful. You can see it's consolidating. No decision on that. You know, myself, like I said, when I see something like that and I see a lower low there and then comes back down, you know, and the target was hit, I tend to take money off the table and relook at it again and see what's next. As you can see, the monthly and the weekly, it wasn't really the best trades. It was something that can hold you have to hold for a while. Although potentially it is slow, but it's very slow. Have a look at your monthly and weekly. How long your monthly here? How long, you know, it's been sitting there? Or have a look at the weekly, how long it's been going across. So upside, it's slow, you know, it's not fast. That's why it's not something that, you know, you can just hold and go, you know. It's been there for a very long time in this range here. You know, if you're one of those lucky ones that got a very low bill around the $3 or something, or $6 or $7, well, you don't care. Obviously, you want to see that $50. I'll be very happy. I suppose it's what you look at and what you've got. Okay, now I was asked. I got one more thing to do. The Aussie dollar was asked to do, and really that was it. Here we go. AUD equals. Okay, first of all, monthly. The target, as we can see, was hit, was in the channel. This line, I would still leave it there in case it does start to have a rally all the way up there, because that would be its resistance if it does. Other than that, that's all it stands for. This line here only stands for that. Other than that, it's really a channel between these two lines. Also, if we go from down here, we really should draw, which we haven't as yet. What do you know? Okay, that's on the upside. That's to that. Actually, let me just redo that one and start on this one. I probably will put it there, but technically, because these are tails, it can be along all the way to here, you see, because the bodies are above this line. And that's where it really is, because they went below like these did and then come back below, back above. So we can see major support here, major support for the Aussie dollar. That really does tell you if this trend line breaks, geez, will it really have a free fall. But something tells me I think we're going to see a bit of upside on the Aussie dollar at the moment. Let's look at the weekly. We can see that's just a clone of that. We can see that's actually where it is, and a lot of support. So this flag that was looking for a bearish flag, as you can see, hit the line and fail. You have to remove it now. Not flags anymore. That's what that is, and we have to look what it's going to occur here. What's going to consolidate, but something's telling us this here has made a higher high, okay, higher than that. So that was the low, lower high, lower low. In this case now it's a higher high here. So if it comes down a bit and then goes back up, it'll be a higher low, and we've got an actual Aussie dollar reversal to the upside now. Let's have a look at the daily. And here we go. This shows better ground, and I'd say this is making a bullish flag. Look at that. I got, geez, the Aussie dollar's going to have a run on the upside. Look at that. My goodness. Price target out of that. Now again, it's got to break to the upside before we can say this is a bullish flag, but if I had to put money on it, I would give it a good 80%. You know, again, not personal advice, just general investment advice. I've got to remind everybody on that. Target is down here. I'm only estimating. We're talking back at around 81 cents. Whoa, this is really, and on top of that, this channel, the price, I just noticed it now. Why didn't I look at it earlier? But what I have noticed, where's my extended tool here? So that's broken above there, all right? So that's broken the channel. So what that basically means is this, because it's broken the channel, first of all, at the bottom of the channel, to this side of the channel, to the breakout of the channel, that's its target. And one more I can do because that's pretty close, and it's telling me from here to the top of the channel, to the breakout of the channel, and up to 83 cents potential the Aussie dollar can rally. Whoa, that I didn't expect. Well, folks, that's what I've been asked to do thus far. I hope what we've gone through, it's been quite helpful to everybody, but what I try to do at the same time is to make it more like how I would trade it live rather than just saying, oh, this is what it is and that's the target. What I'm trying to do is initiate where I can get people to look at it, how to utilize the software, you know, a lot better, let the software do some of the work. And I know some of the new stuff that will be done in the new software that we're currently developing, and it's currently available for anyone that wants to download off the Phoenix website. You'll see it there. There's a Windows version, there's a an Apple Mac version, and also the iPad version, of course. Basically, you can do a lot of the things. There's still some things you can't do with it, but just give us a bit more time. You can install it if you'd like to have a little play with it. You're more than welcome to install it. It will not interfere with this program that you're using right now. You'll have to use the same username and password. So in other words, you have to log on separately. In other words, you have to log off this and use the other one, but it's there for the use. So if you get a chance, you want to have a little play with it, please do so. I hope, like I said, this has been beneficial to you. And I will organise another webinar. I know Easter's coming up, so I'm just going to work out the dates and everything else, and I'll put an email out for the next webinar for this, and I'll do another training session for the new software also, probably in the next few weeks on that one, and we'll go from there. Although I forgot to record the damn thing yesterday, that I ran last night, I will do another one myself for half an hour, and I'll put it up for people's use on the same link that you get. This will be just a different playlist set up on there. So without further ado, I wish everybody a great Easter, a good holiday period, and hope to catch with you at the next session. Thank you so much, and have a great evening.